Hi, this is Srinivas Tamada, founder of Nalison.info. This video is about getting started with Ionic and React. React recently announced a React-based framework. Basically, Ionic works with Angular, and I posted a few articles about Ionic. If you look at the tag Ionic, you will find a lot of articles. But with React is completely new, and this is basically it's the create React app and converting using Ionic components. So there are some instructions here to follow, but I'm going to use a capacitor to generate iOS and an Android app too that they haven't covered here. So how we're going to achieve this small kind of app? This is basically a series I'm going to start, how you're going to create a tabs, menu, everything. But this post is about creating a pages and basic setup of Ionic and React. In this video, like I'm just going to cover 3 pages like about and the settings and the home. So basic navigation, how you can convert the app into iOS and Android and the desktop. So all of things I'm going to cover it. Make sure before that you can just refer these articles for getting more idea about Ionic. If you are new, like you can just blindly follow this. So yeah, let's quickly follow these instructions and see how we can set up. So we need like basically you need a node. So the latest version, this comes with npm. So, and there is one more thing called npx. This is the node package executor. This basically comes with npm. If not, like npm install, and you can give generate command and npx. This basically downloads the plugin and it executes. So React need these things. So most of the time we use npx. And try to install Yarn. Yarn is a alternate for npm. It actually downloads multiple packages at the one shot, so it is pretty fast. If you want to install like npm install g for global, and you can give Yarn. So try to get the latest Yarn version. So I'm sorry, yeah, I think it's 1.16. So basically React projects are better work with Yarn, so try to use it. So let me execute this project. This uh, works with TypeScript. That's a more advantage, but it's pretty slow, but it's okay for if you understand React. If you understand React and a little bit of Angular, this will be easy. So I'm just giving project name here. So basically npx is a command and create React app is generating a React project. And this is the project name, and we are passing the TypeScript uh, to generate all the code. So if you look at this, it uses Yarn to download all the dependencies. If you compare to the npm install, this will save half of the time, because right now it is like few dependencies we are using, but in future if you import multiple plugins that delay your process, so try to use Yarn. Yeah, I downloaded everything, and it gives you some of the instructions like to start the project called Yarn start or Yarn build. uh, if you're not comfortable, you can use npm run start or npm run build, but I'm going to explain all of those. Let's see, the project has been downloaded. So React, forget about other things. So this is the project. It has all the modules downloaded. Let's open with the Visual Code. If you look at this project, there is a package.json and Yarn as well. Yarn log, because you installed Yarn install. If you use npm install, you'll get package.log. So if you see here, there are a few dependencies got installed, but this project need so many new other things, like you have to install convert this into a Ionic React app. So Ionic is giving these things to install. So this will take few minutes to download. There are few things like this is Ionic React. This all comes with Ionic components. If you look at the Ionic components, and you can change the programming language here, so you will see some of the code. See, this is the components for React, if you see Angular, it is completely different one. It comes with a dash. So these are the pretty old names, but we are using React. And see, if you see Angular is different and Vue is different. If you want, you can use it Vue as well, but right now for Ionic. And we need a React router for switching between the routes, and the router DOM, and it is TypeScript related plugins. We actually downloading now. Yep, all the plugins have been installed. Let's quickly check, see if you see there are new things got updated. You can start this project, like I can give like npm run start, or you can give yarn start. So this basically runs at localhost 3000. This is basically React app. Let me open this in a responsive mode for a mobile view. So this is running now. So this app we are going to convert into Ionic way for a mobile view. So this is what the code now. So this is what we're going to modify it. Let's go here. So there are some instructions. You try to import these. These are the CSS files for the components. We're going to drop off these. We're not going to use it. Instead of that, I'm going to copy everything. Let's see what is coming. And if you look at this, all these are like basic Ionic app and the content block. You'll find all of these here. Like if you look for components and alerts, so cards, everything, you will find the same thing we implemented here too. If you look at that, I'm just copy pasting that. And now look at the output for this. Yeah, the basic one, but I'm going to create a pages and the header and footer, all of these things I'm going to do it. Yeah, the because if you look at the Angular or Ionic, it has a generating CLI component so that you can quickly create pages and components. But in this React, you have to do a lot of copy paste work because we don't have proper like CLI for this. So I found a very interesting plugin called Generact. So this will help us to generate the React pages and the components very quicker way, like how we generated for Angular. So I'm going to install this. So you can just simply like npm install -g and Generact. So that way you will get it global way. So Generact I installed. So now you are in the project, and before that I need to like create some folders. One is called pages. All the pages I'm going to keep it here, like home, about, login, sign up, everything you have to keep it here. And basically it's a component file, but this is for one more thing called components. This one I'm going to keep all the shared components like header, footer, logo, and whatever, like between shared between the pages. Basically pages and the components both are same, but for the differentiating, I'm just creating that the same way you can create a services. So we're going to keep all the API connection service files. We're going to maintain it here. So now come back to the uh, terminal and try to give the Generact. There are some instructions to follow. Just check this git and just try to execute in the project level. Then it'll ask you to which one we need to replicate. So right now we have only one component called app. So I'm just giving that. And then what is your component name? It's called, right now I'm going to give home, and then my home location, I'm going to keep it on the pages, and then home. I just want to maintain a different project. If you look at that, it simply creates a home components very quickly with styles, everything. But this is a app style, so we're not going to use this anymore because that's the default one it came. The same thing it got replicated here, so we don't want this here to save, because in future home is our base component for creating all of the pages and the components. The first time we used app, but so next time we're not going to use it. So we already imported this SAS, I mean the CSS. So we are going to drop off this. And if you look at this, this is the app, this is the Ionic app, but this place we are going to replace all of the pages, components, everything. This is a base, it's like a body for the Ionic. Let's see, save it. It's automatically I installed updated my Visual Code, so it automatically drops off unused components. It's Ionic app. Inside that I'm going to keep all the things again. I'll come back. So here we don't need Ionic app because Ionic content only we are replacing. So let's save it. Yep, good. Now let's, if you look at the project, it will be empty because we haven't, this is completely empty. Now I'm going to import the home here, and I'm quickly changing this to, I'm dropping off this and like home page for a reference. And now inside that I'm going to import the home component. So the home is like referring to pages and the page and home. Let's save it. So this entire block is coming here now. Now if you look at that, there is a home page came up here. So which means the project is good. So now for all other pages, home is our base. So I'm going to quickly create all other pages. Like I'm going to give generate. Now home is our base. So now quickly create about page, and it's in the same folder. So that's why I give enter. Then the other one again. The other one is like, again I'm going to replicate the home, and the component name is settings, and it's the same page. If you look at that, home, it actually replicates the home, and even this content also updated. For the home, I'm just going to give welcome to home page, and all other let it be like that. The home page and about page, and now looks good. I'm going to create a one more file. It's called let me replicate for this about uh, what is the name I'm going to give. It's called no page. Basically this is a 404 page. If anybody types any other route, we should redirect to the no 404 page. This is also I'm going to maintain it on the pages. So now I'm going to create a component for header and footer, like so generate again. So this is I'm going to refer it about again, and this is header, but this comes under like src and the components, and yeah, that's it, components. Like if you look at that, this is called header now. Yeah, but header is not looking like this. Let's go to the Ionic component and see we have anything for header. Mostly it will be on the navbar navigation thing, and yeah, there is a iron header. So let's try to copy paste this thing. So I'm just copy pasting this thing on the header here. Let's save it. I'm not going to use these buttons. This is good. I don't want subheader. Let's save it. And so right now there are red marks, so we need to import these three things from the React, so we don't know. So I'm just going to replace these things. Let me save. Looks good. I'm changing to the like Ionic React. It's a header name. The same way I'm going to use it for so now I'm going to use generate again, and this time I'm going to refer as a header. It's called footer, and it's under the footer component. Let's see, header is good, and go to the footer, it's same, but this is going to be footer. This you'll find it on the components page. I'm just quickly giving, just replace this with this. Now good. Now we need to import header and footer to app. So header comes top. So you have to import that. Some reason it's not coming sometime from, it's called components in the header and the header. In the same way I'm going to use for the footer. Yep. So let's see how the app looks like now. So if you look at that, there is a small header and the footer, and there is like Ionic color generator. If you go to here, and there are a lot of documentation, you will see a lot of colors here. So if you want, I'm going to use any different color called, let me use danger for this project. So danger is nothing but red. So go to header and the footer, like you can directly apply color. It's a small danger. And the same way for footer, go here and apply here as well. Now the colors has been updated. So now looks good. And if you want, you can change this primary color to a different way. Finally, you can generate a big class name. I mean this variables with a new style. You just copy this and come back to the index and try to paste here. So that way it applies to the uh, app.css and it updates, overrides everything. So that we'll talk about later. Now if you look at that, we are straightforward loading the home page, but now we're going to create a routes to connecting between all the pages. Yeah, let's minimize everything. For that you need a routes file. So I'm just going to create a routes configuration file. This is basically a configuration file for all the routes. Now I'm going to give a constant variable to routes, and then this is a fat arrow function, and you will get this documentation wherever you look for the Angular React routes. Sorry, I keep talking about Angular. So it's default exporting routes, the same class I'm exporting. Now this works with the browser router. So if you see it, it is coming from the React router DOM, and you need a switch. So this is actually switch between different pages. Now this is called route. There's one more component. So this has multiple options. You can give exact, what is the path you're going to give. Right now by default is home, so I can just give component, it's called home. So let me import home. So some reason it's not coming from, so it's called pages and the home and the home. The same way I'm going to import other pages as well, like about. Now so I'm going to replicate the same for two other. This is called about. Whenever you type about localhost / about, you will get the about page. And the other one is settings I'm going to give. Looks good. And the last one is like I'm going to give like a star if anybody types like any other page, like we need to redirect to the no page. I mean it's called 404 page. Now the routes configure has been done. So but why still we are getting error? Like let's see, I think yeah, we need to tell this class kind of a React one. So try to import the React library from React. Yeah, now if you see no errors, so that's good. Now come back to the app. So instead of home, we're going to import the routes. It's pretty simple. So now we don't need the home. So when I save it, home gone. So now it goes to routes. Let's see how that works. Yep, now this is the home page. It's as expected, it's working. Then if I give about, it's going to the about page. Let's go to settings. It's going to settings page. If I'm giving something else, it's going to no page, but I'll quickly change that to 404 no page font. Yeah, routing's done. So let's connect with each of the page. Uh, let's go to the home page, and then let me add an button. Oh, there is a link. So if you're connecting with two different ones, link to like slash about page, the same way for settings page. You can give about and the settings. The link is a default React route DOM thing. So let's go to the home page. Now if you see the two links here, you go to about page, it clicks on settings page. Let me quickly add something else, like Ion button. So I'm trying to add like about page, and then give color some primary, and the same thing I'm copy pasting here. Like this one I'm going to give secondary, and then settings for a better look. Yep, look at the page. Now about, go back and settings. If you want to include this everywhere, let's just copy paste it and paste it here and change this to home, and keep the same way, like try to import this. And now I added the same for about as well, which is switching the, yep, go to the home again and go to settings and the about. If you see home and settings, go back home. So now looks good. And if anybody types, I already explained, if I type anything, it's going to 404 page. Now everything looks good. So now there is no, if you look at the Ionic projects, like there is a Angular Ionic, like Ionic generate iOS, it's quickly generate the iOS app, and the same way for Android app. But right now we don't have anything of that. So now we are going to use Capacitor. This is the right now Ionic build this Capacitor instead of Cordova. This is the latest way of it's kind of a web view, but like this is better way to do it. So I'm going to use this. For this actually you need these two components. I mean these two libraries. Try to install those. Again, I came to the project, the directory. I'm trying to execute this, the capacitor now. So basically, this is called capacitor core and the capacitor CLI. Yep, the libraries has been downloaded. So if you look at the package.json, so there are two more libraries got installed. Now let's go to the documentation. Now we need to initialize the capacitor to the project. So let's go back and execute that command. So this basically prompts you what is your application name. I'm just giving React Ionic, and now this is the basically your app name. Basically, if you have any idea about Xcode or Android SDK, then this is the most important one. So com dot, I'm just giving right now React Ionic.com, some name like. So what is your base installation one? I'll try to give yarn because that's the default one. If you want, you can use npm, but I'm just giving now this. Yep. If you look at that, there are some instructions to generate these npx add Android, iOS, and Electron. Let me copy this. Now if you look at that, there are some configurations has been generated, like here. This is called capacitor.config.json. Let me close everything and clear all this. And now in the package.json, I'm trying to add some scripts here for quickly implementing that. If you want for Android, like you can directly use like npm run Android, so that way it executes this command. The same way I'm just generating it for iOS, and the electron is for generating the desktop application. If you look at my previous post, this one, the how you can generate a desktop application, that's a pretty good one. I'm just changing to iOS here, and this is iOS, and then electron. So now looks good. We are going to build this project, so I'm going to give yarn build. So this is basically it compiles everything. It's everything TypeScript. It compiles everything. It creates the distribution folder. If you look at here, it got created a build file. So now you have to configure your capacitor, because right now the web directory is connecting to www. Install that. I'm just giving build. So if you want, you can change these things later. If you want npm client, you can change it to npm too. But right now, this is a little pretty fast way. Yeah, it's building everything now. Yeah, this compiled everything. It generated the files. If you look at that, it's got created everything, manifest HTML, everything got generated. This is what we are going to host it basically. Uh, but this is a mobile app we are converting, so this is what the output directory now. Now let's now npm run iOS. This actually triggers that npx cap command. If you look at that npx cap add iOS, so it is actually converting this application into an iOS app now. Yep, now look at this. The iOS has been created. The project also it's converted, and it's got generated all the Xcode files. Sometime this is going to fail updating iOS native dependencies. So sometime if your Xcode is outdated, you'll get this error. So that time you have to update your Cocoa pods, and for that, like, you can just give pod repo update. So this is the command. When you give, it updates all your Xcode dependencies, and then you will not get this kind of error. So right now it's pretty good. And now if you see here, and they specified to open this project, use this command. So I'm trying to copy this command and try to use it in the package.json for using it, like iOS open, for better understanding and better remembering. The same way it replicates for all other things. So I'm just modifying to Android. Yeah, this also looks good. And the last one is electron. Now if you see here, Gradle came up and the Android folder also came up here. All the files, this you can open with Android SDK. But right now I'm going to explain about iOS. If you are not focusing on the desktop application, don't execute this. So basically this is one code base for web and the desktop and the Android and iOS. Yep, all the things has been generated. If you look at that, electron, Android, iOS has been generated. And now when you push it to the git, try to ignore these folders, because we don't need these things to push it to the repositories. So try to ignore these folders, so that way we are all ignoring these things. Even for the search too, don't try to use. So now looks good. Even for the Gradle, we didn't font grail file as well. Yeah. Anyway, we executed this like npm. Npm run iOS open. Let's basically it executes this. Clear npm run iOS open. So that actually triggers the Xcode. Now the Xcode is launching, and you can choose your emulator like if X or 8 or whatever you want. And when you click on this app, see, look at the files it's got generated, and it is indexing. It will take a little bit of time. And this is the base file. So this file actually it actually open up your HTML files here with the iOS web layer. So let me run this. Yep, now this is the iOS, the output. Like you can click the home, settings. Yeah, that's the problem for a back button. I think that's why I need to give everywhere the button so that I can come back to the home page. Now let's quickly go back and update the settings page. And instead of that about, this is home page. So now we updated a small page, but again you have to do all the process. It's a bit headache, right? So instead of that, like npm, I think the capacitor is giving an npx and cap sync. So that actually updates this iOS, Android, and Electron automatically. So that's what I'm going to modify the script. Like there is a build, and then what I'm going to do is and like npx cap sync. So what happen is I'm going to build the project, and after that it's going to sync. It'll update all other folders here, so that way you no need to run again and again to build the projects. So that'll save your time. So now I'll try to execute npm run build. So what will happen now? I'm trying to execute both of the commands. Now the project has been built success, and now it is updating all other like iOS builds and Android and Electron with the sync command. Yep, looks good now. npm run iOS open. If you want to launch the Android, you can give Android dash open. Now looks good. Go to the settings page and about page, home page. So you can switch between different pages. So this is what we achieved now, and the next video I'm going to like update with the tabs. That's what I'm going to explain how we can do with Ionic. So thanks a lot for watching this video.